Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for our February community chat. My name is Bex Hayhoe. I'm the Executive Director for United to End Homelessness here with Orange County United Way. Last month in January, we talked with Kyle Payne, George Searcy, and Grace Defter about some recent permanent supportive housing that opened in Orange County. If you missed that chat, you can find the recording on our Facebook and also on our YouTube page. Today, we're going to be focused on what is in the works for permanent supportive housing here in Orange County for 2021. And I am thrilled to be joined by two leaders who are at the forefront of bringing more permanent supportive housing to our community. We are joined by Judson Brown, the Housing Division Manager for the Santa Ana Housing Authority at the City of Santa Ana, and Adam Eliason, Manager of the Orange County Housing Finance Trust. Welcome so much to both of you. And Adam, it's great to have you back to our community chat series. For anyone who isn't familiar with you and the work of the Orange County Housing Finance Trust, could you just provide some brief background info? Hi, Adam. I'm so sorry. You're going to need to unmute.
and you gave me that wonderful reminder before we started. Okay, thank you, Bex. So the Orange County Housing Finance Trust is a regional collaborative government entity that was established a couple years ago. The membership of the trust consists of 23 cities and the County of Orange. And our mission is to finance the development of affordable and permanent supportive housing in Orange County. And we do that by bringing new money into the county from state and federal sources and work with our local leaders to look at development opportunities and partner with developers to build that housing. So we become, in essence, a financing tool for developers that are in the space of affordable and permanent supportive housing. We look at collaborating with other stakeholders in the permanent supportive housing world, and we try to look at new ways to develop and encourage the development of affordable and permanent supportive housing that's less expensive, high quality. And in a nutshell, that's what we do.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Adam. And then Judson, I'll turn to you for a quick introduction. Can you share a little about yourself and the role of the Santa Ana Housing Authority in the world of supportive housing?
Yeah, thank you so much, Bex. It's a privilege to be here to join you today and to join Adam on this panel for this community chat. My name is Judson Brown. I serve as the housing manager for the city of Santa Ana. I have been here with the city for just under 6 years, and previously served as the chair of our Continuum of Care board, and I currently serve as the chair of our Housing Opportunity Committee for our Continuum of Care board. But in the world of permanent supportive housing, I'd say it's been one of our key priorities since I started with the city. We started with the 2 weeks after I started back in November 2015 in my position. I issued our first RFP for permanent supportive housing. And since then, we've been developing permanent supportive housing units in the city of Santa Ana to address our homeless crisis. And we've also been successful to issue vouchers for people experiencing homelessness as well. So we have a lot of great work going on through a remarkable team here that we have in our city, and excited to share with you today.
That's wonderful. And I can certainly attest to an incredible team over with the Santa Ana Housing Authority. We are lucky enough to partner with you on our work with Welcome Home OC and voucher holders. And it's always a joy to work with your team. Adam, I'm going to come right back to you. Can you give us a forecast for 2021 in terms of what are we looking at for permanent supportive housing here in our community?
Sure. So to answer that question, I'm going to share my screen and show you our website. See if I can do that right now. So what you're looking, we're going to pop into the chat area the website of the Orange County Housing Finance Trust, which is pretty simple. It is, sorry about that. It is ochft.org. And when you go on the website, you'll see this ribbon at the top. If you choose developments, you'll get to this page. And this page, what we've done on the trust is we provide a way for anyone, media, the community, developers, to go on to this website and see where affordable and permanent supportive housing is being developed and has been completed. There's a goal that we at the trust have adopted with the county, which is to complete 2,700 permanent supportive housing units by the year 2025. We felt like we need to have something that really tracks that progress that we make. These two tables here show by service planning area how we're doing. And so you can see the column of permanent supportive housing and the percent and the total units that these projects represent. Down here, you'll see the status of all the projects, how many projects, units, and permanent supportive housing has been completed, what's under progress of getting their funding, and units being under construction. You can see this number here is 562 permanent supportive housing units are under construction currently. For those of you who've been on this page before, I thought I'd share with you maybe something that you haven't seen before, and you all can see this map. If you scroll down just a little bit and hit this view full screen, then it comes up on the entire screen, a little bit bigger, a little bit easier to see. You all have probably been able to zoom in and click on any one of these push pins. I'll pick this one, and you'll see the details regarding that. The other thing you can do, just kind of the next level, is over on your far right side, you'll see a status ribbon. You can scroll down, and then all the projects will show up with the push pin number, and you can see it this way as well. And you just keep going down, you'll see all the projects there. And that's exactly how I looked at how are we doing this year. The question Bex asked is, what can we expect in terms of permanent supportive housing coming out and completed and available 2021? And so when I went through that, we have an estimated completion date for all of our projects. I came up with that there are, this year alone, 5 projects located in Santa Ana, Buena Park, 2 in Anaheim, 1 in Yorba Linda, and 1 in Irvine, all being completed this year. And that represents 200 permanent supportive housing units being completed and available at the end of this year. And I'm going to hand it over to Judson. Well, actually, I'm going to hand it back to Bex to ask the next question.
Thank you so much, Adam. And I did not know that you could scroll down on that map like that. So thank you for that tip. I've been on there many times, but you were right. I learned something new. So thank you for sharing that with everybody who tuned in today. So Judson, I'd love to look specifically at Santa Ana, and what does 2021 hold for Santa Ana when it comes to permanent supportive housing?
Absolutely. It's something that I love to talk about. I'd love to share the work that we're doing here in the city of Santa Ana to address the homeless crisis here in our community. So before jumping into 2021, I just want to give some highlights of what our team was able to accomplish for our community in 2020. In 2020, we have both project-based permanent supportive housing units that we've financed in our city, and we also have tenant-based supportive housing opportunities that we have funded in our city in partnership with your team, Bex, and Welcome Home OC. And for 2020, we successfully financed 146 units of permanent supportive housing at project-based locations. If we zoom in there, you could see some of these beautiful new projects. You could drive past them in our community. You see, I think 27, or no, I'm sorry, number one over there is our Heroes Landing project. This is 75 new units of permanent supportive housing that was developed by Jamboree Housing. The vision and effort for that project started back in April 2017. So it took us 3 years to get to that project completion last summer. And then we have our Arts Collective project. It's over there on the corner of, it's number 4. Yeah, you see that right there. Arts Collective with 15 units of permanent supportive housing, a beautiful adaptive reuse project of a 1950s office building that was converted into affordable housing with 15 units of permanent supportive housing. And then lastly, right above that on 22 is our Casa Carencia project. It says under construction. The project was actually completed at the end of December. And so it is currently leasing up to provide 56 units of permanent supportive housing for chronically homeless individuals. Just exciting projects that we completed in 2020. And in terms of tenant-based housing, we've also in 2020, we housed 40 new veterans through our VASH program, 25 foster youth through our Foster Youth Independence program, and 51 non-elderly disabled individuals experiencing homelessness through our mainstream voucher program, a total of 116 tenant-based supportive housing opportunities in scattered site tenant-based housing. But that was 2020. 2021 is going to bring more excitement and more results to addressing the homeless crisis in our community. For project openings, that are actually going to be open, we have instead some groundbreakings that are going to be happening. So if you click on number 27, you can read about our Legacy Square project, which has 33 units of permanent supportive housing being developed by our partners at National Core in partnership with Mercy House Living Centers. And it includes, it's a new construction project on a church, formerly owned church site that's being ground leased to the developer to develop 93 units of affordable housing with 33 PSH units. We have our North Harbor Village project, which is number 18 over there. This is a project we're actually doing in partnership with Adam and his team to finance and develop 89 new units of permanent supportive housing. This is actually, what's really neat about this project is this is the third motel conversion project in the city of Santa Ana over the last 5 years. And really looking forward to that project breaking ground this year. And then lastly, our FX Residences project, which is number 7. And that is a 17-unit new construction project of permanent supportive housing, also going to be breaking ground this year. So a lot of groundbreakings happening this year. And we also will be, so a total of 139 units will be breaking ground this year. And then we'll also be issuing roughly 124 additional tenant-based vouchers for supportive housing and scattered site tenant-based housing opportunities, including 25 vouchers for foster youth, 49 vouchers for people with disabilities experiencing homelessness, and roughly 50 vouchers for veterans again this year. So exciting things happening in the city of Santa Ana in 2021, building upon our efforts and results in 2020.
That is really exciting to hear how all of the work that has been happening over the last few years is just continuing to be built upon, and about the projects that are coming online in Santa Ana this year. Thank you, Judson. So I would love to ask you each, what have been some of the challenges when it comes to getting permanent supportive housing built in Orange County? I'm not sure which of you would like to tackle this one first, so I'll let you jump in.
I'll jump in. Judson just finished. I'll give him a break. The challenges of getting permanent supportive housing built in Orange County, it's not the fact that we don't have the developers and the service providers. We have exceptional developers and service providers. It used to be that we had a lot of people that were against affordable and permanent supportive housing. And of course that still exists, but through the efforts of United Way and others, and just in general, the elected officials, we're seeing much more positive response to that. The funding for developing permanent supportive housing has a priority with the governor's office in Sacramento. and the legislature. I would say some of the challenges we're going to see in the future is going to be around the high cost of development in California. And we need collectively and regionally to be looking at new and alternative ways to be able to bring permanent supportive housing and other types of affordable housing into the county without such a high price tag. And I think one of the last things I just want to comment on is when we look at this issue of what can we do to, bring more permanent supportive housing, good question, but going hand in hand with that is what can we do to lessen the need for more permanent supportive housing? Because without doing the preventative measures, we may never be able to build enough housing. And so that's why I'm so encouraged by organizations like the Be Well Clinic coming online with their addiction recovery and mental health counseling, which is such a large percentage of our homeless population that need that help. And if we can get them to be at the front end, helping to overcome the reasons why people are homeless, then we can continue to build the permanent supportive housing and maybe get the ability to see the end of this crisis that we face.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with everything that Adam said. Something that I constantly think about in terms of addressing the homelessness crisis is funding. Even with the various funding sources that we see at the state, there's not nearly enough funding for the need out there. In order to achieve functional zero in Orange County, we have to be providing more permanent supportive housing units than there are people experiencing homelessness on the street, and we have to reach that threshold. And we're not there. We're far from it. We're not there is an understatement, right? For me, I'd say the greatest barriers to it is funding, and then the time it takes to develop permanent supportive housing. And like I mentioned, our Heroes Landing project took 3 years. Casa Carencia took 3 years. We're breaking ground on 2 projects, 3 projects this year that we committed funding to back in early 2019. And so it's a very long development cycle. We're seeing incredible results happen when in partnership with your team, Bex, with Welcome Home OC, in terms of pairing Welcome Home OC with our tenant-based housing opportunities. I'm not trying to give you a plug. I'm actually just stating the facts that it's very efficient in terms of being able to house people experiencing homelessness very quickly. So we need more funding for developing permanent supportive housing opportunities, physical project-based opportunities, but we need more vouchers as well in order to achieve functional zero, paired with landlord incentive programs like Welcome Home OC.
Thank you to both of you. I want to piggyback off a couple of things that you said. For anybody that's watching, I realized that we didn't actually explain what permanent supportive housing is when we started this conversation. So I am so sorry that we did not do that. So a quick explanation in case anybody has tuned in who wasn't watching is that permanent supportive housing is a piece of the puzzle for addressing homelessness in a community. It is a national best practice. It is a solution for a particular type of homelessness, and that is chronic homelessness. So for somebody who's been experiencing homelessness for over a year and who has a disabling condition. So it's a very specific solution for a specific group of people who've been experiencing homelessness. It's not sort of the only piece of the puzzle when it comes to addressing homelessness. So I just wanted to state that for anybody who is watching. And then one thing that Adam mentioned was around preventing homelessness and causes of homelessness. And it would be remiss of me to not jump in and just remind everybody that the main causes of homelessness in Orange County are not necessarily what people would think. The main causes of homelessness here are actually economic. So our top 3 causes of homelessness here are the lack of of people being able to afford housing in Orange County. Anybody who's renting or looking to buy knows how expensive it is to access housing in Orange County. And then connected to that is people not being able to earn enough money to afford the housing that is available. And then the third reason for homelessness is actually connected to family issues. So divorce, death of a family member, any kind of medical issue that happens. And so while substance abuse and mental health issues are a component of homelessness, they are not actually in the top 3 reasons as to why people become homeless. So I just wanted to jump in and share that with everybody and make sure that I provide that information to us all. So I know, Adam, you mentioned that community support has been shifting for permanent supportive housing here, which is fantastic. For anybody who is watching, is there a way that you would encourage them to get involved in bringing more permanent supportive housing online here?
You know, I would just continue. The champions effort of United Way and their education of the community to making sure people are aware of what affordable and permanent supportive housing is, and the different developments that are coming into communities has been a great resource. I personally have witnessed this as I've been at city council meetings and seen some of the community residents be informed on how affordable and permanent supportive housing can benefit the community, not only in terms of stabilization, diversity, but even just from a cost standpoint. And you mentioned a study that was done in conjunction with UCI and United Way and Jamboree. And we saw a big shift in the elected officials realizing that the cost of homelessness, it's better to do something than to do nothing. We have a lot of people that think that we shouldn't do anything to help in this area. And actually that's more expensive and it's worse if we don't do anything. And so anyway, I just encourage everyone to continue to read and research available resources. If you want to stay informed on affordable and permanent supportive housing issues in California, I subscribe to on the state of California Housing and Community Development. They have a web news where it's like the Reader's Digest of everything related to affordable and permanent supportive housing. They consolidate it and they put it out weekly. It's a great resource for people. You can sign up and you automatically get their, I think it's weekly or every couple of days. On our website, we're going to continue to provide information about developments that are and funding opportunities for developers, and when those projects status will be coming online. And one of the things I'm excited to be exploring this year is we receive funding to take that mapping page that you see and to expand it to provide more information, especially in terms of what's available for residents to apply for affordable and permanent supportive housing and when it becomes available. And that'll be coming, probably it'll take a while, but within the next 12 months, we'll have something on our website regarding that too.
That's great. I will be excited for those updates. One thing I did want to ask, and I've just seen the time, we're at 12:24. This has been flying by, around the funding that is available. Adam, could you share just a little bit around current funding or funding that is about to be available for permanent supportive housing?
Yeah, we in January, we just issued what they call a notice of funding availability for developers to apply for funding that we at the trust have to be able to build more permanent supportive housing. It's a application process that developers go through. This year, well, let me start. Last year, we funded 7 projects totaling almost 467, I think it was exactly, affordable and permanent supportive housing we helped to finance. This year we have $11 million, and we expect to fund an equal roughly amount of projects. We're continuing at the trust to do what our mission requires us to do, and that is to explore new funding sources that we can bring in Orange County. We're actively right now lobbying up in Sacramento. You may have heard that our state financial situation isn't as bleak as we initially thought at the beginning of COVID. And there's funding that's available. And at the trust, we're constantly monitoring that to see if we can bring a set aside amount of money into Orange County to make a big dent in our effort to build more.
Wonderful. Thank you, Adam. And I'm sure there are probably people who are tuned in that would love to know how they can help be an advocate to secure more funding to come to Orange County. So please keep us informed around how we can help you as you advocate for those funds. I know that we have many people who would love to get engaged in that. A quick question that wasn't on our agenda: how many cities are members of the Housing Finance Trust at the moment?
23 cities and the County of Orange.
Okay, that's fantastic. So if you're watching and you don't know if your city is a member of the Orange County Housing Finance Trust, there's a little piece of homework for you. You can contact your city council, your city manager, and you can ask them. We had a question, and one of the things that came to mind to me is that people who are watching today are obviously interested in permanent supportive housing, and they want to learn about it. And I would encourage you that if you're interested in seeing permanent supportive housing being built in your community, perhaps there isn't a pushpin showing up on your city, I would really encourage you to reach out to your city council members, to your city manager, and strike up a conversation with them. And if you need help with that, I am happy to offer our team here over at United to End Homelessness. We actually run trainings on advocacy. We know that we need these 2,700 units of permanent supportive housing here in our community. And so I have 2 staff members, and their job is to help train people on how to advocate for more permanent supportive housing and affordable housing. So if you haven't taken one of our Advocacy 101 classes, we heard Adam talk about housing champions, and I know our housing champions have gone out and spoken in support of developments in the city of Santa Ana. If that's something that's of interest to you, you can sign up on our website, and I think the link's probably dropped in the chat box already, but we would love to be able to engage with you further and to help equip you to have conversations with your elected officials so we can bring more permanent supportive housing online and then involve you in advocating for more funding for that permanent supportive housing. And it's now 12:28. So Adam and Judson, I'm just going to ping back to you. Anything that we didn't get to talk about that you want people to know about?
I'll just add again the exciting, all the exciting work going on across the county through Adam's leadership. The county's doing a tremendous job, and city of Santa Ana continue to address the needs in our community, and so exciting to see so much going on across Orange County. We have a lot of great things happening. We're starting to gel together, and we're addressing this crisis together.
Yeah, I'm glad Judson mentioned that. I can't express enough gratitude for the leadership at the County of Orange and all of our cities who have stepped up to address this issue. We have such a united effort, no pun intended there, to address this issue. And the county has a tremendous staff that looks at bringing financing also into the county, and also development specialty. And it's we Judson and I and many others in the county, including the United Way team, we literally can sit at a table and share this information, addressing the affordable and permanent supportive housing crisis that we face. And other areas of the state are not so fortunate to have that ability, and we can really share and brainstorm ideas. And I love that about Orange County, and we are seeing huge progress in that area. It takes a while because this problem didn't happen overnight. It's going to take a while to fix, but we're on our way for sure.
Absolutely. Well, Adam and Judson, the time flew by, and I want to personally thank each of you for your leadership. This work is hard, and so I want to thank you for the endless hours that each of you put in day in, and the weeks, the months, the hours that you pour into ensuring that our community can have more housing for people who are incredibly vulnerable. And so thank you. Thank you on behalf of everybody who's tuned in. Thank you to everybody who has tuned in. If your friends missed this chat, it will be available on our Facebook and on our YouTube. And thank you so much to everybody who sent questions in advance to help formulate our discussion today. We will be back in March with another community chat, but this does wrap up our time together today. A poll has popped up. We'd love for you to finish that if you're with us on Zoom right now. We'd love your feedback. And again, thank you so much to everybody for joining us, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.